Hello, this video is going to cover the quick study problems from chapter 23. So if you go down to the 23 modules, you should be able to click on chapter 23 lecture. Once you do that, what you need to first do is you need to download and review the modified PowerPoint slides if you have not already read the chapter, just so you can get an overview of chapter 23. Once you do that, you can go to Excel file for the quick study practice, click on that and download it, and then you will get an Excel file that you can follow along with this video. Since we are making the video, it's not launchable just yet, but it'll be put here as soon as I complete this video. And then also get out your textbook from page 1050 to 1051. So I'm going to go ahead and start. The very first tab is Accept, and this is Accept a Special Order, also known as accepting additional business. That was the first type of decision covered in chapter 23. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that open in my textbook, and I have Radar Company sells bikes for $300. The company currently sells 3,750 bikes per year, and they could make as many as 5,000 additional bikes. Well, a total of 5,000 bikes per year. The bikes cost $225 each, $150 in variable costs, and then $75 of it is in fixed costs. So they go on to say that they are given an offer from a potential customer who's willing to buy 750 of the bikes for $250 each. So with the incremental analysis, what we're going to do is we're going to figure out how much additional sales are we going to incur if we accept this special order, and how much additional costs will we incur. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to calculate the sales for those 750 bikes times the special price of $250, not the original $300, and that'll give me $187,500, so $187,500. Then the incremental variable costs, it says up here $150. Now I'm going to start it with a negative because this is a cost, and I'm going to take 150 times the 750 bikes, and I get a grand total of negative $112,500. And then my fixed costs, they tell us outright that we're talking about $50,000, so there's no need to calculate that. They just gave us the amount, and then we're going to do equal sum, and we're going to take the net of these three amounts, and you'll see that we get a positive $25,000, and that means that if we accept it, we will get additional revenue or incremental revenue of $25,000. So this company should accept the special order, and that's it. So we have our analysis. If they reject it and they choose not to accept it, then that means they won't get this money, but they won't get the revenue, nor will they incur these additional expenditures. So our next option is make or buy. This is quick study 8 on the same page, and I'm going to scroll down to 8, and we have the company currently buys a component part for $5 per unit. Zia believes that making the part will require $2.25 of units of direct materials and $1 per unit of direct labor. Zia allocates overhead using predetermined overhead rate of 200% of the direct labor cost. Zia estimates an incremental overhead rate of 75 cents per unit to make the part. Should they make it or buy it? So let's go ahead and do our two options. We can either make or buy, and I like to make it look pretty. I'm going to center it. And so per unit, we're going to compare, because all we need to know is for 1 unit, and we can just extrapolate it by multiplying it by the actual quantity. So our first item we have is direct materials, and our direct material cost for 1 unit is $2.25 if we make it. It's $1 for direct labor, and incremental overhead, they tell us we're not going to use the full 200% because we're looking at the additional. So incremental will be the additional. So that's going to be 75 cents. And then, of course, there's no purchase price because we're making it. Now, if we compare the option to buy, we would not incur direct materials, direct labor, or the incremental overhead. All we would incur is the purchase price. And the purchase price, they've told us they can purchase it for $5 per unit. So that's what we're going to use for our purchase price. So how it works is we're going to take our costs and just add them up. Again, because we are not looking at the selling price, because we're going to have the same selling price whether we make it or buy it. It's not relevant to the decision. And since I've already programmed the formula and all I'm doing is copying it over. So I have a choice of making it for $4 or I can buy it for $5. What should I do? Well, I should make it. So the company should make the part. And that's it. All right, and if you have any questions, please post in the Google Hangout. Next one, scrap or rework. So scrap or rework. We got, let's see, 10.50. And we're going to look at number 9. Signal mistakenly produces 1,000 defective cell phones. The phones cost $60 each to produce. A salvage company will buy the defective phones as they are for $30 each. It will cost Signal $80 per phone to rework the phone. If the phones are reworked, Signal could sell them for $120 each. Assume there is no opportunity cost associated with reworking the phones, meaning that if we rework it, we're not missing out on anything else to get some additional revenue. So when we do our scrap, if we sell it as is, let's see, we got 1,000 of them and we can sell it for what, 30 bucks. So let's go ahead and put in revenue of $30 times 1,000. Now if we rework it, instead of getting the 30, we'll get $120. So we can take the 120 times it by 1,000. So this is our sales based on scrapping it, and here's our sales based on reworking it. Now the out-of-pocket costs, if we scrap it as is, we don't incur anything else. So that's a negative. Well, not negative, but 0. So no impact on our decision. But if we rework it, it says that we're going to have to what? Incur $80 to rework it. So we want to make sure that we address that as relevant. So we're going to go ahead and put in here $80 times 1,000 phones, and you'll see it's 80,000. So what we'll do is figure out our net, and this it says less. Now you could have put this in as a negative, so long as you did the net of it, that's fine. But I'm going to go ahead and take my 30,000 minus my 0, and I get 30,000 for the scrap option. I'm going to copy the formula, and I get 40,000 for the rework. And which one's better? The company should rework the phone. And that's it. So now we're ready for the next one, which is, and I just need to put the little arrow, sell or process further. Now the sell or process further, that's item 10. And item 10 can be found on page 1050 as well. And we have our template again, sell and process further. We have Holmes Company produces a product that can be either sold as is or processed further. Home has already spent $50,000 to produce 1,250 units that can be sold now for $67,500 to another manufacturer. Alternatively, Holmes can process those units further at a cost of $250 per unit, and then the units can be then sold for $375 each. All right, so if we sell it as is, the incremental revenue that we will get will be the $67,500 that was given to us. It's right over here. That's given to us. And then, oh, my little thing. So if we want to change that to our proper format, let me just make sure we press enter. Okay. And then it says, if we process it further, we're going to get, let's see, $375. So it's listed right here, $375 each. We're going to get that. And then we'll multiply the 375 times the number of units, which was 1250. That's going to be the additional revenue. Now the additional costs will be the 250, right? So we'll have our 250, and because this is cost and I don't have that less thing, oh, there's a typo. Well, we'll fix it. We'll go ahead and do the 250 times the 1250, and you should get negative 312,500. And over here there is no incremental cost because we're selling it as is, so that's 0. And what you'll do is you're basically taking the net of these two, so just equal them up, sum them up, sorry, not equal them up. Okay, so go ahead and copy that formula. We sum these, copy C, and you'll see the summation formula here. I'm going to paste it, and I get a net of 156,250. Comparing to the two, I should do what? Yep, process further. And I'm going to go ahead and fix this little, it should be incremental cost. Press F7 on your keyboard and it'll do a spell check. And you can change it, or you can press F2 and manually, oh, I have another one in there. Oh. Alright. And then we'll go ahead and process further. And we're ready for the next one. And again, we have the terms at the bottom. Hopefully you'll go through in the PowerPoint video and write down what these terms mean. And since we were unable to do this as a group project, we just went through step by step. And if you'd prefer, you could actually have done this on paper. You didn't have to actually do it on Excel. If you chose not to, you could do it manually as well. So this concludes this video. And remember, today is a great day to learn accounting.